So anyone with the Bob's Tall Tales DLC will have access to these once you get the engrams. Okay, so this is one of the 3 overall looks that we're going to be going for with our new Wasteland vehicles. I'd call them cars, but it's not really accurate because this one's kind of a car, but the next one definitely is not. These are going to be, like Zane said, they're going to run off of a new gasoline-derived resource. Using your cars, they're going to slowly degrade in durability over time, but that's fine. You can just take them home and repair them. It's just to make sure they're not there forever. This is the monster truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a much larger, much bigger, much tougher looking version of the vehicle. These things are going to be fairly customizable visually. We're going to allow players to do a lot of things with them. This is actually 4 different sections of our vehicle right now. We've got the engine compartment, which is basically everything from the end of the cab. We've got the bed, which is everything from the back of the cab back, and then we've got, of course, the cab. Now, those 3 sections are going to be completely interchangeable. So you could throw on all racer parts, or you could have the monster truck cab, the racer bed, and the buggy engine compartment. It'll give you a lot of different looks for your car. Those 3 parts are just cosmetic. They're just to look the way you want. The 4th section that you're seeing on here, the wheels, those are going to change your car a little bit. They're going to affect the handling, and they're going to affect the acceleration. The buggy wheels are like our average. The monster truck wheels are going to be our slowest, most control, tightest turning wheels. And the racer is going to have the least tight turning, but have the fastest just speed. There is going to be 1 passenger seat. They're all going to be built at a new structure. We're very original with this. Where you build and store your cars is going to be a garage. So this is our big garage. We made sure to keep the top nice and flat so you can still build on top of your garage if you want it. You can decorate it however you want. And when you are building or repairing a vehicle, it will show up in there. You will see it. Now, as you can see on the left and right of this as well, there are front end attachments and rear end attachments. By default, a vehicle does not come with any of these. You're going to have to learn the engrams for them separately. So there's 6 front end attachments. There's going to be you can only have 1 attachment on the front and 1 attachment on the back. You can't have 2 rear end attachments and no front end attachments. So our first 2 front end modules, these are going to be our simplest ones, but they are still very, very useful. They're both different types of armor. The first armor is going to be a heavy reduction in incoming melee damage. The second front-end attachment is armor that reduces both ranged and explosive damage. So if you're concerned about getting picked off from afar or running over explosives, you're going to want your armor too. If you're more concerned about that dinosaur that's about to tail whip or bite your car to death, you're going to want to reduce it with the incoming melee damage armor. As you can see on the bottom left, though, you can also get a spiked grill. In addition, it's going to significantly increase the amount of damage you deal when ramming anything. I've already seen this question in the chat 3 times. No, you cannot breed cars. They are not gendered. They do not have a reproductive system, and they do not lay eggs or incubate babies. I'm really sorry. If you want another one, you're going to have to build it. That top left attachment right there is a buzzsaw. It's going to do a small amount of damage over time to anything that's in front of you. This is, it's not going to do as much damage as ramming full speed with a spiked grill, but it's just going to keep doing it for as long as something is there. This is going to be a decent way of dealing damage slowly over time. It will also deal extra damage to any foliage in front of you, sort of clearing the way so you don't have to worry about all the trees and bushes and rocks. The 4th attachment we're going to have is, we're calling it a spring bumper. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a very large bumper connected by very powerful springs. It will do a few different things. The first one it does is it reduces all incoming damage from the front. It will reduce the collision damage you take when you ram, and then the final thing it does is it increases knockback when you're ramming into things. If you are more of a speed player and you just don't want to be stopped under any circumstances, you're probably going to throw the cowcatcher on instead. That is our sixth and final front end attachment. If you hit a creature below a certain size or a player, it will knock them to the side and you'll take no damage and they'll take significantly reduced damage. All of the front end modules are like passive abilities. They don't take any key bindings or gamepad buttons. These are just extra effects that your vehicle will have. The rear end modules, on the other hand, are activatables. And as you can see on that top right one, we've got the hook. This one, I think, is going to sort of have a bit of a spicy reaction to it. You fire it behind you, and you can target a player, a carcass, or an unconscious creature, and you can drag it along with you, which means this is a way to move unconscious creatures to a better place. The downside is, while you're dragging things, it will deal damage both when you hit them with the hook and as you're dragging them. You're going to have to let them wake back up if you want that perfect tame, because it will be doing some damage, but it does give you the chance to grab one of your friends and drag them out of, harm's way, or you're like, this is a really good creature, I really want to tame it. I don't have my taming set up here, or this is just a terrible place to tame it. It will deal damage over time as you're dragging them, so it will reduce taming effectiveness. You got to keep that in mind. Let them wake up, knock them back out. Yes, there is a weight cap to that. You're probably not going to be moving, like a kaiju or a titano anywhere. So we are also keeping an eye on this in the PvP instance. If it's way too abusable, we'll just have it automatically break after a few seconds. Of things we're going to be keeping a close eye on is this tow hook in PvE servers specifically, because we want to make sure that you can't troll too hard with this. It's probably not a good idea if people are using this to drag unconscious, extremely dangerous creatures to their to their neighbor's base just to let them wake up and try and ruin their day. We may have to rein some of that in. Intended to be a quality of life tool, and we are very aware that this one has some griefing capabilities that we're going to be very, very, very careful to limit. The next rear end attachment is the afterburner. This one's really straightforward. It's your standard NOS / hit the boost. There's going to be a jump jet, which is literally an explosive boost for your car, which gives it a small jump. That's mostly for fun and for navigating some of our less flat maps. Just in case anyone's worried about losing their car, if you lose your car or if your car gets stuck, anytime you want, you can go to your garage. You can use the UI function to just teleport any given car that is yours back to the garage. It doesn't make the most in-lore sense, we know that, but this is a quality of life thing that we figure if we don't do this, it's just rude. All right, so let's talk about a couple more of these attachments. The other three we have are sort of defensive or offensive droppers. One, we've got a smoke screen that is, it's a smoke screen. It's going to block vision. It's going to make it very difficult for anyone to see you. The fifth rear end module is mine drops. This is kind of similar to the smoke screen, except instead of dropping smoke, you drop mines. So anyone who's following you, explodes a little bit. That's the very damagey way of saying, stop following me, I don't want you following me. All of these are going to have fairly long cooldowns, so you can't just drop them willy-nilly. On the strong end, the longer the cooldown we're giving them, and the ones that we're like, well, this one's fun and good, but it's not as powerful as X, is going to have a shorter one. The sludge dropper is our sixth and final rear end module. It's going to drop a trail of goop that slows down anything walking over it. So it's not going to do any damage, but it will slow it down. There's going to be a driver's seat, obviously, because you need to be able to drive it. Yeah. And each of the vehicles comes with a passenger seat as well. Passenger is just going to be there hanging out, just relaxing, being cool, and if you need to, leaning out the window to shoot people for you. Any passenger will be able to equip just about any ranged weapon, and I say just about because we're very concerned about people using these to rocket run, so we may blacklist some weapons. And the final slot and the potential spot for your last friend to ride on. Let's bring up that picture 4. Every one of these has a bed. Well, you can put one of these on the bed if you would prefer. I will say you don't have to, and it does not come with one. If you do not put one of these turrets on the bed, then it is a 1x1 foundation buildable area. Just about anything that you can put in most of our platform saddles on the back of this. If you want, you can throw up some walls, you can put up some seats, you can put some storage there. No automated turrets. I'm going to throw that up right now. If you want a turret, you put one of these on it. And yeah, so each of these turrets has a little bit of a different function for us. You can see right there that there is a spot for a player to stand on if you want. Then one of your tribe mates can jump onto the back of this and man the turret. If you do not want that and you have a turret, you will still be able to have full control of the turret from the driver's seat. Turret option number 1, bottom right there, is the minigun. You know, your very basic high rate of fire, long range weapon. Go to the top right from there, we've got the cannon. This is our anti-heavy target weapon. It is a trace weapon, so it doesn't fire a projectile on the server, which means it is an extremely fast shot, long range, but very low rate of fire, and the damage is probably not as high as cannon implies. It definitely does a reasonable amount of damage, but when it hits, it has a small AoE explosion on the end. In addition, it ignores percentage of the armor of anything it hits directly, not the explosions, just the direct hit. Continuing the circle around, next we got the shotgun. This is your sort of like short-ranged, low rate of fire, high damage in like a narrow-ish cone. It's your shotgun. It's gonna absolutely annihilate anything that you're close to. But I'm gonna go into the middle next for the flamethrower. Yeah, this one is also a short range. This is definitely the shortest range of them all. This one, on the other hand, has extremely high rate of fire, and it's only got like medium to low base damage. Since it sets the targets it hits on fire, it does, you know, percent max health damage over time.
Yeah.
So this is the way you really churn out the things with very, very high base health values. And our final option for a weapon here is the bottom left there. That is the Seeker Missile. This is our dedicated anti-flyer weapon. It's gonna be, you know, reasonable against non-flyers, but it's gonna do significantly more damage to flyers. It specifically can lock on to flyers if you hold the reticle over them for a moment, and then the projectiles will track them. It cannot do that to anything on the ground, so you can still dumbfire. You can still fire, you know, fire and hope. So if you're really sick of someone flying around, dropping their creatures on you, or picking your friends off of their mounts, you're gonna want your Seeker Missile.